CGC goes digital. Say what? I know, comic viewer. I know that this is the news that you have been waiting to hear your entire comic book collecting life. But this is very important. This is very interesting. And I think you guys need to know about this because it could lead to bigger implications in the comic collecting industry in the future. And in this video, we're going to talk about it. But of course, before I get into it, if you guys could like, comment, subscribe, I appreciate it. Helps our channel doing things. But what are you talking about, CGC going digital? Well, we have this out of the Sergio Collects Twitter. Sergio, of course, one of the founders of Fanable. Breaking, VEVE partners with CGC, the world's biggest comic book grading service. Exclusive VEVE comics and CGC pins to be issued at NYCC. That is right, folks. We are just a few weeks away from New York Comic Con. I myself will be in attendance at the show. And there's a lot of interesting news and stories coming out already for that con. I think that there's going to be a lot of things to take away from that. And of course, the one here in this video that we're talking about is, of course, that VEVE is doing a partnership with CGC to give out pins. Now, that begs the question, is this leading to CGC actually starting to grade VEVE comic books? Well, I definitely think that that's probably going to be the case. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, what is VEVE? You guys know what VEVE is. I've done many videos about them on the past in this channel. I realize that not everybody likes to hear about digital collectibles, but again, I think that this stuff is very, very important. I myself, of course, am a little bit biased because I do enjoy VEVE personally, but I think that they are the one company in the space that is actually trying to make a push for digital comic books. I mean, especially in the wake of the, debacle that was Comixology. But let me carry on here. Certified Guaranteed Company, also known as CGC, has partnered with VEVE, the world's biggest digital collectibles platform. A VEVE Comics pin will be issued at this year's New York Comic Con by CGC. It is unconfirmed at this time if a digital version of the pin will also be released on the VEVE platform, but it is a safe assumption. This partnership between the largest comic book grading service in the world and the biggest licensed digital collectibles platform on the planet represents an incredible opportunity for digital format collectors. Users have been requesting that digital comics get graded based on factors such as rarity, special mint numbers, and low mints. A partnership with CGC would presumably include a digital graded slab. These slabs could then be featured in the secondary marketplace to signify its significance. Take, for example, Amazing Fantasy 15, which was published by Marvel Comics in 1962. Owning special mint number 1962 would get graded by CGC and issued a digital comic book slab. When listed in the VEVE marketplace, any CGC graded comic books on VEVE would be highlighted. A user could then see the significance of that mint number on the digital CGC slab on VEVE. This seems like a no-brainer product that I could see many collectors on VEVE utilizing. Now, I realize that was a big dump right there for you guys, a lot of information to take in, but don't worry, I'm going to break it down. Here you guys see the pin that CGC will be giving out. Of course, it's a gem mint number 10 with the little VEVE logo right there. Now, what are we talking about here? Graded digital comic books? I mean, I don't even understand, Swag. Can you explain this to me? Why, yes, hypothetical viewer, I will explain this to you. Well, here I am in the VEVE collectibles market. This is my personal collection. As you guys can see, I own 5 comic books right here, the greatest 5 comic books ever, and 2 collectible statues. These are, of course, ones I picked up way back in the height of 2021 when things were going crazy. And I still find joy in owning these comic books. And one of the interesting sort of emergent consumer behaviors that have come from this is that people have started to put bounties and target very specific mint numbers as the comic books that they would like to collect. Like, let's take Fantastic Four #1 right here. I happen to have a rare edition of this book. If you guys don't know, when VEVE would release a comic book like FF #1, they'd have the commons, which is the regular cover, the uncommon, which is sort of a black and white variant, a rare right here, which is a partial color. You have the ultra rare, which is fully black and white. And then you have the secret rare, which happens to have the splash page as the cover right there. And these, of course, would have different print numbers, or I should say mint numbers, according to the rarity for each particular umbrella right there. So you have total edition 60,000, which means that there are actually 60,000 minted copies out there. And then the variants have 3,000. So, maybe there's, I don't know, I'm just going to spitball here. There's like 40,000 regulars, and then it gets less, 10,000 here, and then it gets like 5,000 and then 2,000 and 1,000, et cetera, et cetera. So what actually happened in this marketplace is that when you create a copy and you put it on the blockchain, it actually does have a unique minted number. So my particular copy, if I scroll down right here, you'll see is edition number 59,296. So of the 60,000 copies, my copy was the 59th 296th one that was actually created / minted. So people have started to want to collect the minted ones that were of, kind of a unique number or special. Maybe if you get mint number 1, that actually commands a premium on the secondary market. Or if you get the year in which the comic book is published, which of course for Fantastic Four is 1961 right here, maybe people are looking for the copy or the edition that has 1961 on it. And just so you guys know, it's completely random which kind of cover gets the random number. Like it could just be like the first couple were the commons and the next few were rares. And then, the next ones after that were secret rare. So it's completely random within each collectible. But either way, it has put sort of these bounties and these premiums on these particular ones. So what this is saying right here is that maybe there's going to be a world where CGC will grade the digital version of the mint number so as to highlight that particular collectible, making it trade at a premium on the secondary marketplace. And yes, if you guys didn't already know, there is a secondary marketplace where you guys can trade your digital collectibles, where you see right here, this is my copy of Evermind. Here is the current trading floor price for this. There's 42 listings for sale. And, as a digital collectible that is on the blockchain, there's benefits of this to the creators, meaning that every time there's a secondary market sale, the creators of this particular comic book can get a little bit of a royalty on that, which is, actually a nice way to help out comic book writers and comic book artists. But either way, I find it very, very fascinating that this could be a new opportunity for CGC to sort of explore, and can they actually, make digital collectibles a, subset of their business at their company. And, one of the things I think about that's interesting with going on with CGC is that, I don't know if you guys happen to notice this, but a few days ago, they actually announced this sort of cryptic post, 1 week to go, CGC 10 out of 10 day. I'll read what they say. Only 1 week till we unveil the massive 10 out of 10 day excitement. Gather up and be ready to submit your comics, cards, video games, or VHS tapes. Now, I don't actually know, what this actually means. I don't actually know what they're referring to, but I have to assume that they're going to be having some kind of promotion. They're going to be having some kind of sale, for the next 10 days when this thing goes live, they're going to be half price grading or whatever the case is, which, leads me to sort of think that maybe CGC is looking for more ways to generate revenue these days. Maybe these submissions have slowed down and they're looking to do sales. They're trying to get more books into the door. They're trying to, work with other companies and do different sort of partnerships. They're looking for different opportunities to create revenue. And I really do think that this could be a thing in the digital space where we start to see CGC grading digital collectibles. Now, I realize that this is probably a Black Mirror episode to all you comic book collectors out there. I realize that you guys are a little bit allergic to the digital space. And, I read the comments. I know some of you guys are definitely allergic to the grading space. But either way, I think that this is a very good thing. I think it's actually very important for the success and the future of the comic collecting industry. I realize that digital comic books have never really been able to, stick. They never really caught on in any sort of significant way. But I do like what VEVE Comics is trying to do. They're trying to add that collectability back into comic books. Now, the last time I actually covered VEVE Comic Books is they actually released their reader app or their marketplace where you could get same day releases for new comic books in the digital space. And so, this is something that was a big deal because previously new comic books that were digital usually would come out, a week or two after they launched out in stores. Well, VEVE is now providing it to where you could actually get them, upon their, Wednesday release. So if you go over here to Venom War, you can actually buy, the normal version, which is just like your regular Comixology, digital comic book. I want to buy it. I'm going to pay $6, pay cover price, you get to read it. Or you can buy sort of their limited edition version, which is a minted number. So they will create, the common, the uncommon, the rare, the ultra rare, and the secret rare. And you can collect, what is effectively variants that actually have a mint number that actually trade in the secondary marketplace that, maybe one day CGC will grade. I don't know what the significance of Venom War #1 will be, but let's just pretend that, everyone wanted issue number 666 because maybe this copy had Mephisto in it. I don't know, whatever the emergent collector behavior would become. Then later on, CGC would identify that this particular book has become a quote unquote key issue within the VEVE Comics digital collecting space. And it becomes the one that people want to have in their collection. It becomes the one book that is unique amongst the many others that were collected. So again, adding a little bit of that collectability to digital comic books. And what I really, really like about this is that it's all the community that determines what the key book is, or what the unique book is, or what the one that people want is. It's not sort of like, oh, this is automatically the secret rare, therefore this is the most expensive comic book, although it does usually work out to be that way. This isn't just sort of like, we're going to create artificial scarcity and that'll be the one that is the premium. This is the one that the community decides that this is the comic book that, for whatever reason, just gained this popularity, had this mystique behind it. And that's kind of like, the purest form of collecting. That's kind of what, sort of the nostalgia and the cultural aspect that you can't really, put your finger on, like why it's the case that this comic book is special, or why the community decided that this is the one that everybody wants. But there's something cool to that. And I actually really, really like it. And I could see a world and a future where CGC starts to work with VEVE to grade digital collectibles. Anyways, that's all for this video. What do you guys think about this? How do you guys feel about VEVE these days? And how do you guys feel about CGC exploring this space? I mean, on the one hand, it's like, if you're somebody who is in the VEVE collecting world, you probably are really excited about, the possibility of this. If you're someone who doesn't like CGC, this is probably going to do nothing for you. Either way, I think it is very interesting, and it makes a lot of sense for CGC to be exploring, other opportunities and markets as they have to continue to reach out into other forms of collectibles. Anyways, that's all for this one. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. See you on the next video.